navigate all these projectiles just flying in your face. And it's very difficult, especially when your own projectile, the Gordo, is just going to get sent right back at you.
Yeah, so AnVy is going to have a handful on his hands with Salty Joystick's very own Strawhat. So one of South Jersey's finest, doing some work here in Ewing Township. And he'll be looking to make some even bigger splashes on his way to perhaps tournament glory here at King. AnVy. Now, it should be interesting because the Dedede Young Link matchup is not something that we tend to study every single day. So you just don't really expect it. But
I think everybody sleeps on Dedede in this game, if I'm being real with you, man.
And I don't get why. I mean, just because Gordo, I think Gordo's been nerfed twice now as we go to Kalos for game number 1. So we're definitely going to see Dedede live to some very high percentages here. It will be tough for Strawhat to pick up these kills. He's really going to have to overextend himself, I think, and that puts him in danger. But Dedede, yeah, is such a force to be reckoned with in this game. In fact, Adam is finishing at 25th. Solo Dedede at Pound. It just goes to show what this character is capable of. And even though Gordo, not quite the force as it was in, say, 1.0 or 2.0, it's still incredibly good, incredibly powerful, and
it's very annoying.
It's a good little gotcha tool to pile on some damage at early percentages, and indeed with some knockout power as well.
Now we see Strawhat maintaining almost 100% lead here. Doesn't need to go too crazy. Just keep throwing the stuff that Dedede can't get through. Eventually that kill will come to you. Down here, wow, 180. One of Young Link's strongest moves, still not doing the job. And that is partially due to this stage, of course, large boundaries like you were saying, Stu, but also just the immense weight of this character, especially off the top due to his fall speed.
Yeah, but that, I thought that was forward air. Either way, that was a swing of the sword, and that's a loss of the stock by AnVy. Strawhat with drawing first blood in this best of 5. Utilizing those bombs and projectiles. The projectile game that he's employed so well throughout this tournament, but simply was seemingly ignored by the great Gonzalez, playing some incredibly optimal Palutena on his way to winner's side of top 8. And certainly we will be seeing him later on. But Strawhat will be giving AnVy something to think about on the way there, perhaps, as we're seeing Strawhat's game plan come to fruition a little bit more effectively. And frankly, it's just so hard for AnVy to deal with these things to begin with, because yes, he has a recovery. Yes, he can do some things in the air, and he can take the offensive initiative, but it's avoiding, well, I mean, avoiding that hammer is one thing, but avoiding the projectiles is probably why Strawhat has the lead. It's just so hard to do.
Yeah, just so many consecutive hits for trying to approach this character, right? And then Young Link with a crazy combo game once you actually manage to get in. We're going to see both of these guys employing some cool ledge traps. For AnVy, it's the bouncing Gordo with the upward angle throw. And for Strawhat, it's been a lot of these Z-drop bombs. He just lays them on the ground, makes you think twice about coming in. Ooh, and gonna get a second lease on life here too until he sends the Gordo right back at him.
Slapped it up the middle for a base hit, and indeed AnVy bobbling that. That's going to be, I'll call it an earned run for Strawhat, and now he's going to be swinging for the fences on AnVy as he has a full stock lead on the Dedede main. And this Kalos pick, I don't know, that's a big hammer that he's swinging. I would have thought that would have given AnVy the advantage, but frankly, Strawhat doing just fine himself.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much range you have if you can't even get close enough to use that giant weapon of yours, right?
Yeah.
Super armor on the way up, and looked like Strawhat wasn't sure what was going on there. Threw the up B out a bit early. Still has firm footing in this matchup, though.
Oh, and no footing to be found for AnVy. He's barely getting back onto the stage, but there you go in the waiting talons of that sweeping forward air. And indeed, dropping from the skies, Young Link raining hell upon AnVy. Strawhat goes up 1-0, and AnVy all of a sudden looking very, very vulnerable. Strawhat had that from pillar to post, it looked like.
Yeah, pretty horrible matchup to run into in your first match of the top 8. Props to both of them for getting here, but AnVy hopefully doesn't count himself out, right? Obviously, you can pretty much overcome the odds in Smash all the time, but matchup ratios exist for a reason, man, and it's extra hard for Dedede not only being a big body, but having one of your biggest tools in that Gordo get completely shut off just from all the projectiles flying at you. You're not going to find a second to breathe.
Well, frankly, that's why they play the game. You just never know. Certainly any given Sunday, particularly this one, a rather rainy one here in New Jersey, but looking to be raining bombs here with Strawhat. And yeah, you're what I'm noticing, as you mentioned prior, the bombs being laid Z-dropped at his feet, making AnVy question his moving anymore. Honestly, you see Snakes use the grenades like that. It's so interesting to see that tactic employed by a young Link as well, who also has a sword and a boomerang with which to work. Frankly, he's keeping the pace of play very well in his control, and AnVy just can't cope right now.
Yeah, still pretty close, closer than it has been throughout this set so far. So we're going to see if AnVy can maybe change the pace up, take the first stock here. But, oh no, I was going to say having no such luck. But, of course, his character's weight coming into play. All you got to do is rinse and repeat, though.
That was a bit of a Hail Mary from AnVy, and unfortunately swatted down out of the air, really further up into the skies, I should say.
Here we go, the grounded up B, just the short hop up air to follow, and now you get this great juggle going on here. Young Link doesn't even have to get near Dedede to keep popping him up in the air. Just run away, throw a projectile near where you think he's going to touch the ground, and then keep it going.
And that doesn't stop Strawhat from teasing his way in and trying to draw a reaction out of AnVy. This is, I mean, honestly, like puppeteer-esque, the way that he is controlling AnVy's movement. And there's only so much you can do, and one of the things that, one of the drawbacks of this character, even though we've been singing Dedede's praises, it's very easy to get railroaded as AnVy, or as Dedede, and certainly, no matter the capability of the player controlling Dedede, at some point the game's will be exerted upon you, and at 160%, AnVy is going to have to make some magic happen. But you keep getting hit with these projectiles. It's easier said than done, Max.
Just need to find a way in, right? Dedede has very few tools to break the zone. I'd say down tilt really is only one that both moves him forward and applies some pressure at the same time. That's not safe on block by any means. And most of the time, Strawhat's not even within that down tilt distance, even though it propels you forward. So we just see AnVy continually struggle just on this chase down over and over again. And when you've got a stock lead, it hurts extra hard. Percent's one thing, but when you know you've got to not only build all this damage, but then land a big kill move against a small target who's really fast, just keeps throwing these things, can get ugly so fast, and it's doing just that.
Shoutouts to Alice Cooper B-Sides. We still have a long way to go, and AnVy looking to swing that hammer. But it's just Strawhat has been so good at keeping in and out. Creative knockback with the Gordo, placing the bomb at the feet. AnVy trying to navigate the veritable minefield that Strawhat has set up on Kalos. Kicks the Gordo right back into the face of AnVy, and finally gets a back throw and looking to control the pace of play, but he's letting Strawhat land far too easily.
It's just so difficult, man. You don't have the speed, though you do have the range, right? And if and when we see AnVy go up a stock in this set, we can see it get a little bit more difficult for Strawhat, right? He can throw all the projectiles he wants, but he'll be put in a position where he has to land the kills. All right, just gonna take him out with up B. Very comical finish, but Dedede's still fighting. A lot of weight on this character. Ooh, that was super clean. Waited for the arrow, just shot the Gordo right in his face. Is it too little too late, though? I'm inclined to say yeah.
And indeed it is. Maybe a little too much weight on that falling animation. And indeed, that's Strawhat going up 2-0. And there's more than just weight on Dedede. There's a lot of weight on the shoulders of AnVy right now, metaphorically speaking. As we go into Game 3, we just saw the stage counterpick. And I don't know how he deals with... Because Strawhat came in with a game plan, and he's executing it perfectly. There's nothing that this Dedede can do, I feel, to counteract this, just because of the way that Strawhat is executing the game plan. It really is. It's brilliant what we're seeing from Salty Joystick Strawhat, and he's just playing the matchup, quite honestly.
That's it. I want to see Adamus take Strawhat on. See a different take on the matchup from a veteran player who's definitely faced even worse odds back in Brawl with this character.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to wait for Adamus to take a trip to losers if that's even to happen at all.
That could very well be the case. However, Strawhat and AnVy will be fighting it out potentially one last time. But AnVy, perhaps he has another take on the matter.
Also surprised
First
that
he'll have to get his first hit.
we're seeing all 3 games in the set on Kalos too. Not a stage that I think favors Dedede in this matchup. Just have so much space to run around as Young Link. And yeah, you might live a bit extra here compared to the rest of the stages. That also means that Young Link actually gains some survivability too. Whereas on a smaller boundary stage, you might be able to capitalize on his low weight, take him out early, take full advantage of the fact that you naturally survive for a long time, whereas Young Link doesn't.
And far be it from me to criticize a player's approach to this game, Max, but also I feel like it's a rather negative way of thinking. It's like if you're picking the stage because it makes you live longer, well, that's all well and good, but that means you're expecting to get hit. You're expecting your opponent to take control of the matchup, and that means he's going to get that kill eventually, whether it's at 150 or 200. You're saying that it's inevitable, and as forward throw puts AnVy into disadvantage once again. I just feel like playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win, that's setting yourself up for failure, quite frankly.
Yeah, if AnVy goes back and watches these VODs, I would definitely recommend to him trying to close the quarters by way of picking a smaller stage, something like Battlefield maybe, just where there's less room to run around for Young Link. You can pin him down, corner him a little bit more easily, and then you can flex the fact that your weapon outranges his, right? That hammer, about 2 or 3 times longer than the Kokiri sword. But, man, you're just not getting any chances to swing it.
Or I mean, I would say if you're looking for that big space, that's all well and good. Go to town and city, just so you have the shorter blast zones and you can kill off of the side a little bit easier. Okay, yeah, obviously you're getting up air taken away from you, but you have not had many opportunities to get that at all. Strawhat has not given you anything. He hasn't really needed to jump ahead of you to try to evade anything. All of his evasion has been in front of you in terms of those Gordos, which he's hitting back. And don't get me wrong, AnVy has played extremely well today, but has just not been able to figure out Strawhat's offensive game. That's really all it is.
Oh, that chase down with the up B, man. We see Strawhat potentially working on a 3-stock here. Of course, Dedede with a lot of kill power. Wouldn't be surprised if AnVy can't even get one off, but man, the down air sending that Gordo back so fast. This is looking like the beginning of the end here for AnVy. I mean, it's been the beginning of the end, right? This is a clean 3-0. I don't think there was any room for doubt as to who's going to win this after the first game and a half. But again, I'd say this is so much more about the matchup than the player skill. AnVy definitely putting up a fight, showing some creativity, some good thought process here. Wow. Okay, finally going out. I'm surprised he lived both of those up airs, but again, that's Kalos' big blast zones coming into play, both on the top and the sides.
AnVy defiant in the face of elimination. He does not go down without a fight. He's a gamer, Max. You have to respect that from him, but I feel like there's ultimately only so much that you can traverse, only so many heights that you can climb before eventually you just succumb to the altitude. And indeed, Strawhat looking to pour an avalanche of projectiles upon the head of AnVy. Can he make it back?
At this point, there's no reason for him to try to close this game out so hard. Just hang back, maintain your stage control, set these ledge traps on Dedede's armor. Gonna get him through the bomb, but it doesn't matter. It takes a little bit of damage on the way, and that's good enough. Neutral air, that'll be the set. Strawhat in an extremely dominant finish. AnVy laughing that one off. He's like, yeah, I kind of just knew that was over before it started. Tough to run into a Young Link as a solo Dedede main, I'll tell you. But hey, you know what? AnVy can go home and pick up another character, or he could just get so much better than all the other Young Links out there that the matchup odds aren't enough to scare him, and also make some better stage counter-picking choices.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes with experience. You know, the thing is that you've already gotten your feet wet in the top 8. You've already had multiple eyes on you. You've